She cried for him. He slept like a baby. Let that sink in. While your pillow was soaked with tears, while your hands trembled holding the phone, waiting for a reply that never came, he was fine. Laughing, living, liking other women's photos. You cried over someone who felt nothing, and that alone should make your blood boil. Before we go deeper, hit that like button. Subscribe. This channel is for the women who are done settling, done begging, done breaking themselves to build boys. Welcome back, Queen. You gave your heart to someone who couldn't even handle a conversation. You handed your softness to a man who weaponized it. You weren't loved. You were used for attention, for convenience, for comfort. And society? It fed you lies. That real love is about holding on no matter what. That if you love him enough, he'll change. That your loyalty is your value. No, real love doesn't make you question your worth. Real love doesn't disappear when it's inconvenient. I once coached a woman who stayed in a situationship for 5 years. 5. She kept telling herself he just needed time, that he was healing. She'd send him long messages pouring her soul out, and he'd reply 3 days later with a thumbs up. You know what finally woke her up? He got another girl pregnant and blocked her the same week. That pain, it turned into purpose. Today, she runs a business, has zero contact with him, and says, "I lost 5 years to a ghost, but I found myself in the ashes." This is your mirror moment. The truth is ugly, but it's necessary. You broke your own heart, trying to love someone who was never built to hold it. And you keep doing it. Why? No more. No more bleeding for someone who wouldn't even hand you a band-aid. This is the beginning of your stoic revenge. Not through rage, but through reinvention. Type it in the comments if you're ready to rise. I am done begging. Let the world know. Let him know. Let your future self know. What's next will shake the ground beneath you, because in part 1, we're exposing the clown who made you forget you're a queen. Let's go. Number 1. You let a clown make you forget you're the queen. So, my dear, you really let a clown make you forget you were the queen. Let's say it like it is. You handed the crown to a man who couldn't even hold a conversation without lying. You let someone emotionally illiterate become your emotional authority. You gave the court jester your throne, and worse, you begged him to sit on it. And before we go blaming just him, let's be real. Society helped him play you. Fairy tales told you that if you just loved hard enough, stayed soft enough, held on long enough, he'd become the man you hoped he could be. But fairy tales are just bedtime stories for adults who still believe in potential over-patterns. You were sold a lie, and you bought it with your soul. You let his inconsistency feel like passion. You let his silence become your responsibility. You turned chaos into chemistry. Girl, that wasn't love. That was a lesson wrapped in disappointment. You cooked, you cleaned, you made yourself smaller, quieter, sweeter. You supported his dreams while putting yours on the back burner. You mothered a grown man who was supposed to lead with you, not drag you down. You showed up fully for someone who showed up half the time, with half the truth, and a quarter of the effort. There was a girl on a forum once. She wrote, "I helped him get a job, built his resume, lent him money for a car. He still cheated, with a girl who did nothing for him." Why? Because this isn't about worth. It's about standards. It's about how low you had to sink to keep someone who never even deserved access to you in the first place. Let me drop something heavy. You're not a rehab center for broken men. You are not here to fix someone raised on disrespect and raised by women like you, who overgave, overfunctioned, and overcompensated. You're not his therapist, you're not his mother, and you damn sure aren't his doormat. And yes, it hurts, I know it does. Realizing you let yourself get played, that's a special kind of heartbreak. But pain is just a message, a wake-up call. And this pain, this one's screaming at you, wake up. You can't keep bleeding for people who won't even notice the cut. You can't keep investing in men who only take withdrawals. You can't keep giving your body, your mind, your time, your magic to men who don't know what to do with it. Here's the thing. Rising doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to delete his number and suddenly feel free. But the healing begins when you stop romanticizing your suffering. He didn't almost love you. He just loved your access. He loved your emotional labor. He loved how easy it was to have you without deserving you. So now you rise, not for him to see, but for you to finally see. You rise by remembering your standards. You rise by setting boundaries that are painful but permanent. You rise by looking in the mirror and saying, never again. Let the clowns entertain each other. You've got a kingdom to run. Write it in the comments. Let your fingers declare what your heart is still afraid to speak. I reclaim my throne. Say it for the girl who almost forgot who she was. Say it for every night you cried over someone who was already emotionally gone. Say it for your future self, the one who's about to become unrecognizable in the best way. Because next, we're talking about what real effort looks like. And spoiler alert, bare minimum isn't love. It's disrespect in disguise. Let's go. Number 2. His bare minimum was never love. He threw you crumbs, and you baked him a whole damn cake. Let's talk about that good morning text that made your heart skip. You saw it and thought, see, he's trying. Sis, he sent that same message to 5 other women before you. You weren't special. You were one of many. One of the ones he kept on the hook, just enough to keep you hoping, waiting, believing. And don't you dare call that love. That wasn't love. That was manipulation on a lazy schedule. You mistook attention for affection, and that's where you started losing yourself. You turned scraps into stories. You turned scene on a message into butterflies. You thought his random late night "I miss you" meant something, when it was just his boredom, not his loyalty. You celebrated breadcrumbs like they were a feast, but they weren't. They were leftovers from a man who only shows up when it's easy for him. Here's the harsh truth. Consistency is clarity. If he wanted you, he'd make it known. He'd call. He'd show up. He'd plan. He'd communicate. You wouldn't be decoding his energy every other day like a riddle wrapped in silence. You wouldn't be asking your friends, do you think he meant what he said? Love doesn't come with confusion. Confusion is a red flag, not a challenge. Stop clapping for basic effort. Stop rewarding inconsistency with loyalty. That's not romantic. It's self-abandonment. A real man won't leave you guessing. He won't disappear and pop back up when it suits him. He'll show you with presence, not promises, with action, not excuses. So let me ask you this. How many more half-hearted "I miss you" texts are you going to romanticize before you finally realize he doesn't miss you? He misses the access. Type it in the comments. No more crumbs. Say it loud. Let it sting. Let it shift something inside you. Because next, we're facing the ugliest truth. He didn't lose sleep while you cried yourself to pieces. He slept like a baby. And that's the reality you need to see. Stay with me. Number 3. Every time you cried, he slept like a baby. You drowned in tears. He didn't even bring a towel. While you were curled up at 2 a.m., overthinking every word, replaying every message, trying to figure out what you did wrong, he was on Instagram, double-tapping booty pics and sliding into DMs like nothing happened. You spiraled. He scrolled. You begged for clarity. He dodged with silence. Let that hit. He didn't forget to reply. He ignored you. On purpose. He knew you were hurting. He just didn't care. Why? Because your pain didn't inconvenience him. That's the part that should wake you up. You were bleeding for someone who never even brought a bandage. You were explaining yourself to someone who wasn't even listening. He didn't need time. He needed control. And you gave it to him every time you texted again, every time you justified his distance, every time you cried over someone who was already emotionally gone. And still, you tried to be understanding. You tried to be patient. You told yourself he was going through things. But tell me this, did he show you that same grace when you were struggling? Or did he go missing the moment things weren't fun anymore? Stop giving your tears to someone who only shows up when it's convenient. He wasn't your soulmate. He was your wake-up call. This pain isn't a punishment. It's the lesson. And if you don't learn it, you'll live it again. Different man. Same pattern. Same tears. Again and again. No more breakdowns over boys who can't spell accountability. No more screaming into silence. No more negotiating your worth with someone who couldn't even hold space for your voice. Say it with me in the comments. No more crying for cowards. Because next, we're reclaiming your space, your energy, your throne. The crown is waiting. Let's get it. Number 4. Your heart is a throne, not a doormat. Your heart is a throne, not a damn doormat. So why are you letting men with muddy shoes walk through it like it's a public bathroom? Why are you opening the gates wide for anyone with a half-baked apology and 5 minutes of fake consistency? That's not love. That's self-neglect, dressed up as patience. And it's time you see it for what it is. You've let men camp in your soul, pitch tents in your peace, leave trash in your mental space, and call it just going through something. And why? Because you didn't set the boundary. You didn't say no. You let them stay, hoping they'd grow. You let them disrespect you, hoping it would magically turn into love. But queens don't beg for peace. They protect it. You're not losing people when you set boundaries. You're losing parasites. People who only stayed because they had free access to your energy, your body, your kindness, your emotional labor. And the moment you dare to say, "This doesn't work for me anymore," they vanish. Good. Let them. A queen allows love, not confusion. A queen welcomes growth, not games. She opens her door to effort, not empty promises. What she never tolerates is being put on hold while someone figures it out. She never tolerates manipulation wrapped in charm. She doesn't accept crumbs and call it a feast. You think setting boundaries will scare him off? Sis, that's the point. If your standards scare him, he was never going to rise to meet you anyway. Don't shrink yourself to keep someone close. Expand so wide that only those with the strength to rise can stand beside you. No more emotional trespassers. No more tiptoeing around your own needs. No more burning yourself to keep temporary men warm. Type it in the comments. My peace is non-negotiable. Say it. Mean it. Because next, we're flipping the power. We're going silent. And Silence Queen is where the real magic begins. Let's go. Number 5. Watch him panic when you go silent. He didn't ghost you. He expected you to chase, and you did. Let's call it what it is. He didn't disappear because he was confused. He disappeared because he knew you'd come looking. And you did. Again and again. You double-texted. You waited by your phone. You wrote long paragraphs explaining yourself to someone who never deserved front-row seats to your soul in the first place. But now you go silent. Now you stop performing for someone who applauded your pain. Because silence. Silence is the sound of your crown being fastened. Do you understand the shift that happens when a queen detaches? When she stops explaining, stops begging, stops reacting? She becomes untouchable. You think your words will change him. No, sis. Your absence will. Your silence will haunt him louder than any paragraph ever could. There was a girl on Reddit who got tired of her man's games. He'd come and go, disappear for weeks, then act like nothing happened. One day, she blocked him, didn't say a word. He emailed her. Then, he showed up at her job. Not because he cared, but because he lost control. That's what silence does. It flips the script. It forces them to sit in the space where your energy used to be. Stop rewarding bad behavior with attention. Stop thinking closure comes from conversation. Closure comes the moment you say nothing and mean it. You don't need to announce your silence. Just be it. You're not punishing him. You're protecting you. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to access. You don't owe explanations. You don't owe closure. You owe yourself peace. Let the phone ring. Let the DM stay unread. Let him wonder. Because when the queen stops clapping, the circus ends. Drop it in the comments. I choose silence. Say it. Own it. Wear it like armor. Because next, we're facing the ugliest truth yet. How you lost yourself trying to become what he wanted. And what happens when you finally become her again. Stay locked in. Number 6. You became his mirror, not his muse. You became his mirror, not his muse. You stopped being you the moment you thought being yourself wasn't enough to keep him. You adjusted, twisted, reshaped. You became a reflection of his chaos, not your own clarity. You dimmed your light so he wouldn't feel small. You quieted your truth so he wouldn't feel exposed. You let his mood decide yours, his needs override yours, his comfort kill your identity. And now, you're uncomfortable in your own skin. You don't even recognize the woman in the mirror anymore because she was built for him, not for you. Let's break it down. You changed how you dressed because he made a slick comment about how you used to look hotter. You stopped speaking up because every time you had a valid concern, he called you too sensitive or crazy. You avoided conflict, walked on eggshells, let things slide, all in the name of keeping peace with a man who brought war into your life. And the sickest part, you thought it meant love. You thought sacrificing yourself would prove your worth. You thought shrinking would make him stay. But here's the truth, and it's going to sting. The real you was never the problem. He just didn't want to rise to meet her. You became a version of yourself designed for his comfort. But now you can't breathe in that costume because it's not yours. It was never yours. And the longer you wear it, the more you lose the queen you were born to be. Let this sink in. Don't become less so someone else can feel like more. That's not love. That's self-erasure. That's betrayal of yourself. It's time to reclaim you, loud, unapologetic, unfiltered. Let your voice come back. Let your laughter come back. Let your standards rise again, like a phoenix from your own ashes. Type it in the comments. I will not shrink. Say it like your life depends on it, because it does. And next, we go from shrinking to shining. You're about to become unrecognizable, and he won't know what hit him. Let's move. Number 7. Let him watch you become unrecognizable. Let him watch you become unrecognizable, from ashes to empire. This is the part they never expect. The moment you stop crying, stop chasing, stop explaining, and start rebuilding, quietly, ruthlessly, beautifully. This is Stoic revenge, not screaming into the void, not plotting your comeback to hurt him, just rising so high that even his name feels like a whisper in a language you no longer speak. You want to hit him where it hurts? Glow up, heal, hit the gym, not for vanity, but for discipline. Wake up early, journal, meditate, book the therapy session you've been avoiding, block his number, delete the playlist, and launch that idea you kept putting off because he needed your support. Cut the dead weight. Choose you so fully that there's no space left for his memory. There was a woman I once worked with. She was wrecked after a breakup, abandoned, ghosted, drained. She said, "I don't even know who I am without him." Fast forward 2 years, she became a certified fitness coach, built a 6-figure brand, changed her circle, changed her mindset. When someone brought up his name, she laughed. Not bitterly, peacefully. She said, "Oh yeah, I forgot about him." That's power. Let him see you on fire, with purpose. Let him check your socials and not recognize the woman he once underestimated. Let him see the body you built, the confidence you wear, the silence you've mastered. You're no longer accessible. You're elevated. And his access expired the moment he mishandled your heart. She healed so hard, even his memory doesn't match her current life. That's your story now. You don't owe anyone a meltdown, just a masterpiece. You don't need to post quotes or subtweets or songs with lyrics that scream, "I'm hurt." You are the proof. Your peace, your glow, your success. It speaks for itself. So say it in the comments. I am becoming unrecognizable. Type it with power. Let the universe see your rebirth in motion. Because next, we're not just talking about healing, we're talking about standards. Queens don't just rise, they rule. Stay with me. Number 8. The throne is yours. Act like it. The throne is yours. Act like it. You've spent enough nights kneeling at the feet of someone who couldn't even lift his eyes to meet yours. Enough days waiting for texts. Enough energy poured into potential. Enough hope invested in maybes and could-bes and almosts. The crown never fell. You just forgot it was there. Society lied to you. They told you to be patient, to love harder, to prove yourself to a man who never even deserved a seat in your kingdom. They told you a good woman waits, forgives, bends, and breaks in the name of love. But real love, it doesn't demand your silence. It doesn't want your suffering. It doesn't want you to shrink just so someone else can feel big. You let him test your limits, test your self-respect, test your loyalty over and over. Every time you stayed after the lies, the ghosting, the gaslighting, you sent him a message. My standards are flexible. My boundaries are optional. But guess what? The test is over. The lesson is learned. The only person who needs to step up now is you. Let's be real, Queen. He was the test. You are the upgrade. No more begging, no more waiting, no more analyzing his potential. You don't need to be patient with a grown man who never outgrew high school games. You don't need to prove anything to someone who can't even spell commitment. The next time someone treats you like an option, remind them you're the prize. The next time someone serves you silence, serve them distance. When he brings you confusion, bring him clarity. You are not for the faint of heart, the half-hearted, or the unhealed. Let's start an affirmation storm right now. Type it in the comments, shout it at your reflection, write it on your soul. I will never shrink again. I will never beg again. I will never bleed for someone who wouldn't bandage me. Say it until it's true. Say it until your bones remember. Say it until your energy is untouchable. You are done being available for boys who see you as a backup plan. You are done asking, "What's wrong with me?" The only thing that was ever wrong was believing you had to earn the bare minimum. That ends here. You are not just reclaiming your time, your energy, your dignity. You are reclaiming your throne. He made you cry. Now let him cry when he sees what you become. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your reign. So rise, walk tall, and let the world and him watch you win. Queens don't chase. Queens don't beg. Queens don't settle. They rule. And from this day forward, so do you. Drop your final declaration in the comments. My reign starts now. Let the universe hear you. Let the doubters watch. Let the past burn. Because your crown was never in question. It was waiting for you to remember. Subscribe, join the movement, and never forget, the throne is yours. Act like it. And that brings us to the end of this message, Queen. If you made it this far, it means something inside you clicked. You've cried, you've broken, but now it's your time to rise. No more shrinking, no more begging, no more giving crowns to clowns. From this moment on, you rule. So if this shook you, if it woke something up inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with every woman who needs to hear it. Let them watch you rise. Let them watch you win. Your reign starts now.